Just by ways of introduction, the Detroit Historic District Commission was officially established in 1976 via local ordinance. The commission itself is a board composed of 7 Detroit residents who are appointed by the mayor. The commission meets once a month, typically the second Wednesday of each month, to review projects or permit applications for work within historic districts. The following is just a list of the current 7 commissioners, to include Devin Anderson, who is actually a historical architect, so he's a really good source of information at the hearings. Odell Jones III, general contractor, also a really good source in terms of a guy who has real hands-on experience of architecture. Joni Thrower, who's a lawyer. Julie Long, who's an historian. James Hamilton, he lives in Boston Edison and is a retired economist, retired professor. And our 2 newest commissioners would be Lauren Hood and David Cartwright. So most of these folks actually do own homes in historic districts, so they really understand where our residents are coming from who are going through this process. Historic District Commission staff includes 2 individuals, and we are stationed within the City of Detroit Planning and Development Department. Our office is at 65 Cadillac Square, and staff includes Crystal Wilson, who's a planner, and myself, Jennifer Ross, and I am an architectural historian with the City of Detroit. We are knowledgeable, we like to think we are, and we're available Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, to answer any questions. And I think in this case too, since although none of the houses today are located within historic districts, folks can always give us a call if you have any questions, if you're looking for contractors, if you're looking for people that have specialized knowledge on working on old homes. Even if you're not in a historic district, you can always give us a call and we can help supply you with some names, some contact information. So we're just here working for the city as a source of knowledge and information if a resident is interested.
And that's particularly true. We have some questions about windows. Windows, big resource. You try to store windows. She can get you some good people.
Yeah, the last question, or the question that I heard regarding the crank-out casement windows, I kind of, for a second, was thinking, yeah, I know a few names of some folks who can actually fix those types of metal casement windows. So let's see. And just a general overview within the City of Detroit. Currently, there are over 100 local historic districts. This includes single building districts, as well as larger multi-building residents like Boston Edison, encompassing over 12,000 buildings. So you can imagine how busy Crystal and I are. So one question that was brought up is, what is the difference between the Historic District Commission and neighborhood associations? I get that a lot. So the Historic District Commission is a body which has been established by state statute and city ordinance. Within the permitting process, only the commission and commission staff have the legal authority to review and approve the historic appropriateness of work within historic districts. Contrast, a neighborhood association is a group of residents or property owners within that neighborhood who advocate for or organize activities within the neighborhood. Within the districts, these neighborhood associations seek to promote the maintenance of their neighborhood's heritage and historic character. So they work as a partner with the commission. However, neighborhood associations have no legal or direct role in the commission's review process. So essentially, the neighborhood associations are people that live in the neighborhood who form a group, and with the sole kind of task of, as I noted here, maintaining the neighborhood's character. And they meet, they may have a home tour, not to diminish the work that they do. I mean, there are several neighborhoods that are great and have really strong neighborhood associations, like Sherwood Forest, Indian Village, Boston Edison. They've got great websites. Yeah, I mean, their websites oftentimes are better and more informative than ours. But at the end of the day, if you have any questions regarding the rules and the ordinance, call commission staff. We are the folks that are tasked with handing out the information, explaining any parts of the ordinance that a homeowner may not understand, so on and so forth. So that is a kind of brief overview of the difference between the two. Okay, where does it start? As I noted a couple of slides ago, the Historic District Commission was established via a local ordinance and state law. So the state law that I referred to is the Michigan Local Historic Districts Act, a little web link there, and the local ordinance is the Detroit Ordinance 161H. I encourage folks that live in the districts to familiarize themselves with these laws because they pretty much outline what I'm going to get into in more detail here, but pretty much outlining the permitting process, what's possible within districts, and the authority that the commission has within districts and their role. Okay, now we're getting down to the kind of meat of the question, what are the rules for living in a historic district? And this is just very general. The commission does not regulate changes on the interior of a house unless the interior change affects the exterior appearance. So for example, if somebody was doing some work on the interior of a home, tearing down load-bearing walls, the roof caves in, okay, that's when the commission would come in and have any kind of say or have any room to review work because it's affecting something on the outside of the house. But if you're doing a new bathroom, if you're doing any of the interior work that the inspector was speaking of, like plumbing, electrical work, we have no purview over that. All exterior work, and this is an important, I kind of put these two terms in quotes because as I get down in the discussion, I'll explain the difference between work and ordinary maintenance. But essentially, all exterior work beyond ordinary maintenance, including work proposed for areas not visible from the street. So that would be work at the rear and sides of the house, any work on the garage, any work on the rear and side yards, like any landscaping and so forth, must be approved by the commission before the work is undertaken as per the ordinance. So essentially, the commission has the purview to review and approve all work done within the district. And that also even includes sidewalk replacements. If you're going to take down trees inside of the berm area, so that's the right-of-way area in front of your home, that would need to be reviewed and approved by the commission. Point number 3, a certificate of appropriateness issued by the commission and a building department issued by the City of Detroit Building, Safety, Engineering, and Environmental Department must be obtained before any exterior work is done within a district. Okay, so talking specifics, just defining the difference between ordinary maintenance and work. So as I noted just in the last slide, ordinary maintenance is work that does not require review and you can just go ahead and do. You don't need to call commission staff. You don't need to see me. And these work items include, if you're doing on the exterior any painting, the same color, the same location, go ahead and do that. If you're trimming, pruning trees, shrubs, plantings, if you're repairing sections of a broken fence with the same material, repairing a few panes of broken glass on your window, of course, if you're repairing it with the same type of glass or the same glass is fine. Tuck pointing small areas of mortar with matching mortar, installing or removing storms and screens for the season. So if you have a house and you don't have storms and you want to install new storms, that would have to be approved. But if it's a situation where you've already had the storms approved, you're taking them down for the summer, you're putting them up for the winter each year, once they're approved once, you don't need our approval again. Let's see. Replacing small deteriorated areas with identical materials and sizes. If you've got a small little area, damaged area of fascia at your roof, and you want to replace that with wood, go ahead and do that. And finally, putting out and removing cloth awnings on existing frames for the season. So that's similar to your storms. If they've already been approved, you're taking them off for the winter and then you're putting them up for the summer, you don't need our approval on that. So work items that actually do require review before it's done would be if you want to change your paint colors, if you wanted to remove or add shrubbery landscaping, if you wanted to install new fences, new roofing, new windows, or you wanted to repair your windows beyond just a little small area, reconstructing areas of masonry walls, chimneys, floors, installing new storm doors, security doors, reconstructing of your porch, all or part of it, installing new doors, garage doors, security doors, installing or replacing signage, cleaning the building, demolishing all or part of the building, including garage, and finally constructing a new building or addition. And as noted, these lists aren't all inclusive. If there are any questions you may have before beginning your project, call staff first.
I have a question for this man. Wasn't there storm damage and you're dealing with a downed tree, roof, porch, all kinds of stuff, and water that's leaking? What's the process and procedure? You're talking about water that's causing damage to a house. I mean, I think someone needs to move fairly quickly and getting right there.
Well, I mean, the process in that situation would be, I mean, especially if the tree is down, certainly you would contact commission staff and a staff approval, and I'll talk about the difference between getting a staff approval and then the commission approval. But a staff approval in this situation is you'd call either Crystal or I, tell us what's going on. We'd probably ask you to just email us a photograph, use your cell phone, take a picture, email us a photograph. I would send you a PDF copy of a permit application. You could fill that out online, email that back to us. And it's like a 10-minute process. We approve it and you're good to go. Yeah. So we certainly try, especially in emergency situations, to help the homeowner out and do that review as quickly as possible because, obviously our ultimate goal, as much as yours, is to save that historic house. So, yes. Any other questions before I continue? Okay. So now we're talking about the approval process. Number one, just to note once again, consult HCC staff as soon as you determine that you want to undertake a project. We'll walk you through the process and we'll provide you with advice regarding what's appropriate within the guidelines. And then we'll note what documentation or information that you would need to submit in order to start the review process. So similar to, along the lines of what we just talked about, if you called me, explain the situation, then I would let you know, okay, it would just require a photo and the permit application, probably a quick description of what happened, and then we're good to go. And to also note, consult staff early in the process to avoid pitfalls and unpleasant surprises. So number two, so the discussion that I brought up, the fact that the commission has identified work items that conform to historic standards and thus can be quickly or administratively approved by staff. These items include the following, and I'll quickly go through this. It's gutter and downspout repair, and of course there are conditions on all these, and I won't read each for details, but masonry cleaning, re-roofing an asphalt roof with a new asphalt roof, window and door replacement, provided that, of course, the design and the material are the same. Storm window and or door installation. Once again, like I said, there are details or conditions on these, but let's see, window and or door boarding up, replacement of fabric of existing canvas awnings, antenna and satellite dish installation, replacement of existing fence, replacement of an asphalt shingled roof with a wood shingled roof, installation of gas or electric lamps, reconstruction of existing porches, change of paint colors, installation of temporary chain link fencing, the installation of glass block to replace basement windows, the removal of dead, damaged, or diseased trees, a change in walkway or driveway material that matches the same in width and meets the district's elements of design, erection of fences and hedges at a new location, and the installation of a sign or canvas awning at a new location. So basically, as I noted, obviously there are conditions associated with each of these work items, and the commission is established guidelines that pretty much outline these conditions, and they're all available on the website. And note number 3, all other items that were not listed or included in that list must go before the commission at their monthly meeting for their review and approval. So the next slide in the approval process, who reviews what? So the commission at their monthly meetings, they review new construction, demolition, change of original historic material, or work that doesn't meet their guidelines. Whereas staff has the authority to administratively review and approve repair to match existing, replacement to match existing, or work that meets the guidelines. And these guidelines, so we're just going to go through the approval process. So the approval process, just to do a quick walkthrough, is once you have determined that you have a project that needs to go, or once you determine you have a project, period, at the exterior of your home, you'd contact HCC staff. We would let you know what it is that you would need to submit. So you'd come in with your application, submit it to staff, and if it is work that's staff approvable, then you would kind of follow this flow chart. We would review and issue the certificate of appropriateness. Then you would take that information over to the building department and pull your permit. If staff determines that this is work that needs to go in front of the commission, we would put your address on the monthly meeting agenda. Staff would then go out to the site, take pictures, meet with the homeowner, kind of get a better idea of the work that's proposed. Then you would have, we would have the commission meeting, and at the meeting, the commission would either approve the work, in which case, the day after the meeting, staff would draft the certificate of appropriateness for the work, and then you would go to the building department, pull your permit. If it's denied, staff would issue the paperwork, which would outline the procedure to appeal if you feel that the commission made this decision in error, or you feel that you want to take it to the State Historic Preservation Office. Or you can always correct whatever deficiencies there are in the proposal. So if the commission denies, they will always give a reason why they feel that the work is not appropriate, thus giving the homeowner a chance to come back, address those deficiencies, and allow the commission to review and approve if they feel like the deficiencies have been met. But then, as I noted, if you wanted to appeal, you would take it to the State Historic Preservation Board for review, and they would have the ultimate authority to say, yes, we agree with the commission's finding, or no, and overturn the commission's finding. Okay, so how does the commission determine if work is appropriate? So we use 3 guidelines to do that. First off, we use the Secretary of Interior standards, which are federal guidelines, the local ordinance, and the elements of design, which are associated with each district, and the Historic District Commission guidelines. And the guidelines I referred to a couple of slides ago, and let's talk about those. So essentially, the commission has developed a set of guidelines for some very common work items, which allows a homeowner, as long as they follow the guidelines, this work can be staff approved, and you won't have to go in front of the commission, sit through a meeting, wait till the meeting kind of comes and so forth. It's, as long as you follow the guidelines, staff can approve these work items. So essentially, they have guidelines for antennas and satellite dishes, installation of fences and hedges, glass block windows at basement windows, the installation of security bars and lighting, painting, and masonry cleaning. And so these guidelines can be accessed on our website. So although the website, like I noted, has some deficiencies itself, the guidelines are up to date. And of course, a homeowner, if anybody has any questions about about the guidelines, they can always call staff and we can kind of walk them through. Okay, so I've got a couple of examples, 5 examples of some projects that went to the commission to kind of illustrate some of the principles that we just discussed. So example 1, the homeowners submitted a proposal to staff for the addition of sun porch to the rear elevation. So kind of this, you can see this bottom photo. Wish I had a laser pointer. But you can see this bottom photo, kind of where that little van was. The homeowner wanted to build a little sun porch over that window at the, like I said, first story. The homeowner initially was under the impression, or they thought, oh, hey, it's on the rear, nobody can see it, it's not visible from the right-of-way. They kind of asked us, is this something that needs to go in front of the commission because you can't see it from the street? And as I noted earlier, as per the ordinance, even if it's on the rear, the commission needs to review and approve the work. So they wanted to also remove the 2 windows and add a door so that obviously they could get access from the interior space to the new sun porch. So HCC staff forwarded this project to the commission for a review at a meeting because it was considered new construction. So that would not be an item that would be staff approvable because it's such a major work item. The commission reviewed it and issued the certificate of appropriateness. Essentially, they approved the work since it was not going to remove any significant historic materials and was compatible in scale and materials and would not add a false historic character to the home. So that went through the commission. They approved it and reviewed it because it was the right scale, the right material, and did not end up damaging any significant portion of the historic building. So any questions about that case? Or okay.
So basically, any work item has to be approved by the commission to do on these historic.
On the exterior. And it just depends on, like I said, the level of work, whether it could be a staff approval, where it's just, you would call either Crystal or myself, submit whatever documents. We would talk about the work. We'd let you know what would need to be submitted, the documents, and if everything looks good, it's literally like a 10-minute process and you're in and out. The commission, going in front of the commission for a meeting is a little bit kind of longer, drawn-out process in the sense that, like I said, the meetings are held once a month. So if you call me, I don't know, maybe you're under a rush, you're trying to get something done, not you, but one. I've had this happen before where somebody's under the gun, they want to get something done, they call, and the work that they're proposing is something that is a slam dunk that I'm just like, yeah, the commission would approve this, no problem. But the meeting's not for another 3 weeks or not for another month, and I have to tell them, well, I can't staff approve it. You'll have to go on a meeting, which means you're going to have to wait. Yeah. So ideally, it's best to contact staff in the very beginning when you have an idea of what you want to do. And I guess just a rule of thumb to avoid a commission meeting is just replacing in kind, or repairing in kind. That's pretty much the best way to avoid having to go in front of the commission for a meeting. Really, the commission comes about if you're doing an addition, you're doing new work, you're taking out historic wood windows and you want to put in vinyl, something like that. Or you want to tear down a garage or tear down a portion of the house. So.
I have a question. So what if it's a house in a historic neighborhood, but the windows have already been replaced as vinyl before?
Right.
And then you want to replace them again. Do you have to go back to wood, or if they've been vinyl, can you leave them as vinyl?
Yes, I mean, you could go back to vinyl, and it would be a staff approval because it's not involving taking out historic leaded glass windows and putting in vinyl. Ideally, we would love for you to go back to wood. But if you chose to go the route of vinyl, it would be a quick staff approval. Any other questions? Okay. All righty, so example number 2. This work, so at the very bottom, this is a wood kind of decorative fence that was erected to replace the chain link and wood fence at the top associated with this late 1800s Victorian home. The work was done, unfortunately, in violation, which means it wasn't reviewed and approved by the commission before the work was completed. I believe the homeowner didn't know they were in a historic district. So the building department actually ticketed and fined the owner for doing the work in a district without permit or commission review. They came to HCC staff and noted that they wanted to create a kind of a decorative, creative fence. in the location where, as I noted, where this chain link and wood fence was previously located. So HTC staff forwarded the project to the commission for a meeting because it didn't meet the fence and hedges guidelines. So as I noted previously, the commission has guidelines for fences and hedges that if you follow them, the work could be staff approved. But because of the location and the type of fence, couldn't be staff approved, so the commission forwarded it on to the commission. I'm sorry, the staff forwarded it to the commission. Fortunately, the project was denied as completed, and the homeowner was ordered that the fencing be corrected because the style of the fence didn't match the Victorian style of the house, or I guess the Victorian style of the homes prevalent within the area, and it didn't meet the guidelines. So they had to take the fence out. Any questions?
I just have a question. I mean, in my estimation, chain link doesn't meet the Victorian house here, but again,
Well, it was likely that this fencing was added before the district was designated. I mean, because you can see the little low wood picket fencing, which would be more appropriate for that time period, but somewhere along the line, somebody added this fencing. So it was likely done before the district was designated.
So if he would have gone to something more appropriate to what that wooden fence is, then it probably, if he'd done it properly, he would have been okay.
Yeah, if he would have done it properly, it could have actually even been a staff approval if it would have conformed to the guidelines. So, okay, so this is example of number 3. So the owner submitted a proposal to staff to replace an old black 3-tab asphalt shingle roof with a new black dimensional shingle roof. The project was a very quick administrative approval by staff because it involved, of course, the replacement of a non-historic asphalt roof with a new roof of the same material. So it was asphalt, but it was actually better because it was a dimensional shingle. And it was the same color, black. So that was a very quick one. If the homeowner in this case wanted to go to brown, the commission's rules are that they would have to somehow show that the original roof would have been a wood shake. This black, I guess we're supposing that the roof was originally a slate roof. And if they wanted to go to brown and they didn't have any means to show that the original roof was a wood shake, they would have to go in front of the commission for a hearing. Example number 4. The owner submitted a proposal to HTC staff to repair wood windows, add a new concrete walkway, so replace this walkway, same location, same footprint, and replace dying shrubs at the front and rear yard with new shrubs. So the applicant contacted HTC staff and once again noted that they were surprised that they needed a historic review because the work was in kind. It's a one-to-one replacement. However, as per the ordinance, the items were defined as work and thus required a review. However, in this case, once again, it was administratively approved by HTC staff because it involved repair historic wood windows in kind to match what was there. And so typically the difference between ordinary maintenance and repair in this case is if it was just one window, like an area of one window that needed repair and they were going to come back in with wood, that's fine. But when you start getting into the whole window or several windows that need repair, that would have to come in front of staff just to ensure that everything was done correctly. Because oftentimes one person's definition of in kind is way off or may differ from the commission's definition. And let's see, the project, okay. And the in-kind replacement of shrubs in the same location, and the walkway. So that was a staff approval. And this is our last example. The owner submitted a proposal to HTC staff to replace an old cracked concrete walkway with a new reclaimed brick walkway, same location, same dimensions. So this is the new walkway, it's brick. HTC staff had to forward this one to the commission for review at a meeting because it involved the replacement of an original material, so the original concrete with a new or different material, reclaimed brick. The commission, however, issued a certificate of appropriate for the work since it wasn't going to remove anything important, significant, and was compatible to the house's historic appearance. So in my mind, it even looks nicer to have the brick than just a plain concrete walkway, especially since it ties into the brick porch. So the commission approved that one, no problem. And just to close up, when in doubt, contact HCC staff. We're here to assist you. Consult with staff early and often. Well, thank you.